excuse me, the zoning board of review to order. Um, If we could have a roll call.
Member Doig. Member Cloutier.
Here.
The Lacalade.
Here.
Member Ionati. Member Ross Pelletier.
Here.
Member Ron Pelletier.
Let the record reflect that we have full board, except for our chairman. So I'll be filling in for him tonight. One other thing, this building, the fire exits are in the back of the building. The doors behind me lead into the building, so they're not the exit. So in the event of an emergency, we're gonna go out the back doors, take a left. You've all had a copy of the last month's minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from February,
Second.
March, sorry, March, not February.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, all approved?
Aye.
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 Opposed, nay? You guys have it, so voted. There is no old business tonight, so we'll move on to new business. I can read them in if you want.
Yeah, well, give it a shot.
Cool. Item 5.1, owner applicant is James Harris and Grace Wodek. Look, was that close? Woodwick, okay. Yep, I'll agree with that. Location is AP 311, lot 002.002. The address is 353 Weaver Hill Road. The zone is RR5. The applicant is seeking a dimensional variance to construct a 685-foot square array, solar array in the rear side yard, 18 feet from the northern rear lot line where 50 is required. Will the applicant please come up? Right, yep. Up to the mic, my bad. Push the button, it'll turn green.
Sure.
Can we have your name and address?
Name is James Harris. I am the owner of 353 Weaver Hill Road in Coventry, Rhode Island.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Okay, state your case.
Yeah, good evening. We are looking to install a solar array for personal use. It's going to be a total of 32 panels, which equals about 685 square feet. Ground mounted solar array. The best spot for our solar, as we identified with our solar project manager, was on the northern side of our property, facing due south for best sun exposure. Basically, we're looking to do a ground mount as opposed to a roof line or roof mount system due to the age of the roof. And also, we just have excess dirt that I think we could use better than just growing grass. Currently, the design, like I said, it's going to be 32 panels, approximately 42 feet long, 15 feet wide or tall, at a 30-degree pitch, and that's basically it.
So on the ground itself, the footprint would be approximately how big?
It's going to be approximately 42 feet wide.
Yep.
And I say tall, not this way, but tall from south to north, about 15 feet. And then it's going to be pitched at 30 degrees.
Is there any fencing or buffering that you're considering to do with this?
So we have a 4-foot black chain link fence around our back property. It's going to be within the fence boundary. And then we have trees and I won't say forestry boundary between us and the property to the north of us.
What are you planning on putting down on the ground underneath the array?
So my plan is to hopefully keep the grass from growing, and we want to put kind of a white rock underneath because the panels are bifacial, and that will help the radiance reflective to help increase the potential gain of solar PV.
Anything from the board? Kind of straightforward.
Yep.
Actually, one quick question. What do you, just an interesting question. What do you mean bifacial?
Bifacial?
So it'll get the reflection from underneath?
Yeah, exactly. So it has breaks in the solar cells that allows light to penetrate, and then it has those open cells to collect the radiance reflecting back from the ground. So during like winter snow on the ground, it actually will increase the wattage output.
Okay, so the white still makes sense. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, because any dark would just absorb the sunlight versus
Right.
reflective.
So another quick question. So looking at this map, that's your property line still right here, right?
No, sir. So unfortunately, we did get a survey back in December, and what we thought was our property is not our property. That is
Mhm.
neighbors to the north of us.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. This is the best one?
yeah, so about 10 feet just north of that.
Okay. Of the fence, okay.
Kind of hard to see on the actual survey, but you can see the chain link. It's called out on the survey.
Right. And so you're gonna be,
I'll ask, do you have any other images on this PDF that you might scroll to? There should be a color image. No, that's the separate applicant. Same PDF. Yeah, that's the PDF. Is that more helpful to the board?
yeah, because you can see it.
See the, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Do you mind scrolling up? I don't know if we have that one. Oh, there you go. Thanks. And for the record, since we have a recording that we couldn't hear you on, he was just relaying that the property line is north of the chain link fence, and his solar array is south of that chain link fence.
Any other questions of the board?
This is just for private use.
Yes, sir.
Want to take a seat and we'll see if anybody in the crowd would like to have any questions one way or the other.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone here who'd like to speak on this behalf, one way or the other, have questions? Anything to do with this project? Cody, anything on online? Okay,
It's not Cody,
it's not Cody? All I can see is hair, so
though.
what's the new,
Can't
guy-
say the same back up here.
what's the new guy's name?
That's Josh.
Okay, Josh, good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion for. Motion made and seconded that we vote on this project tonight. Mr. Ionati. All in favor signify by the usual aye. Aye. The opposed nay? The ayes have it. So voted. Good luck.
Well, you're not quite done.
Yeah. we can vote on it.
Thank you. We'll do a roll call vote on this. Lenny?
Well, actually, if someone wouldn't mind forming a motion, and I would ask for that motion to reflect the findings in the staff memorandum as well as the condition to waive the ratification in this case. After that motion's ready, then we could have a second and a discussion on that.
Motion would be to approve the application as presented the basis of your decision include testimony tonight and incorporate findings of
Report.
fact and the recommendation of the planning board, planning staff, including waiving the ratification, so that we have
usually do.
document
Yep.
out of your decision.
I make a motion, we approve this based off of the testimony, this, also the staff report from planning department, and I also include waiving the ratification.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Lenny?
I approve as presented with the ratification.
To be waived, okay.
We waived.
Keith?
I approve as presented.
Press the button. Do it again. You're gonna give me,
Approve as presented.
Ross?
Approved as presented.
Yeah, approve as presented.
Chair also approves as presented. Motion is approved. Good luck. Second application to come before us tonight is 5.2. Owner applicant is Julie Bailey. Owner Marjorie Bailey is the applicant. The location is AP 53, Lot 24. The address is 1340 Main Street. The zone is Industrial 1. The applicant is seeking a use variance to construct a single-family home in the Industrial 1 zone. The proposed single-family home will be 10 feet from the north property line where 30 feet is required and 20 feet from the south property line where 30 feet is required. Therefore, the applicant is also seeking dimensional relief.
And through the chair, I just have one note. The agenda does include an error. I will note that the applicant is not seeking to be 10 feet from a property line. They're only seeking to be 20 feet from each of their two side property lines. The notice is correct. This agenda has an error. There was some confusion when reading the applicant materials. It's clear from their site plan that they don't wish to be closer than 20 feet from either side property line. But in the narrative, there was confusion as they said that they were seeking 20 feet of relief on one side. So the agenda is technically over noticing, but the actual notice that went out to abutters was correct. The actual ad was correct. They're seeking 20 feet. They're seeking to be 20 feet from property lines on both sides of their lots. They're not seeking to be 10 feet from a property line
30 feet is required.
where 30 feet is required. I'll let the applicant address it if there's any correction above and beyond what I just said.
Mr. Cronin?
Come up. This is a good time. I think we want to just first off make sure that our agenda is, that error in the agenda is as noted. If you have something that's different than that, Mr. Cronin, just let us know. Great.
Sorry for my inattention. The solicitor handed me the written objection for the first time. I was just reading it, and not to cast any aspersions on anyone. My attention was divided.
Okay, Mr. Cronin.
So Thomas Cronin, 1070 Main Street, Coventry, Rhode Island, for the owner and applicant.
Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth before this board.
I do.
Thank you.
So let's get me refocused, right? And not you guys. I got a little distracted there. So I come before you tonight with a request for a use variance. You know, not the usual that we deal with here. You know, it has a very high standard. The state law says in granting a use variance, the subject land or structure cannot yield any beneficial use if it is required to conform with the provisions of the zoning ordinance. So that's a good place to start, right? It's not the usual dimensional variance, although I am asking for one of those as well. So This part of Coventry is, well-established, densely settled. This property has been in the owner and applicant's family for 105 years. So it's an unusual and complicated piece of property. 1340 Main Street is a 1.1 acre property with frontage directly on Main Street, Route 117. The lot currently has 2 single-family homes and a barn on the lot. The lot was previously 2 lots, one in the front, one in the back. The town of Coventry merged those 2 lots. It's not practical to unmerge them, as this board is well aware. It's an option now under the state law, but the rear lot would have no frontage, 0. They did it next door, but with probably like a driveway easement or something, but it just didn't seem like it would fit here. The resulting lot after the merger is an irregular shape. The lot frontage is 100 feet on Main Street, but about 173 feet back from the road, there's a sharp angle and the width increases to 148 feet before it tapers down to just under 50 feet back at the rear boundary along the Patuxent River. So both of those single-family lots currently in existence are on what was formerly the front lot. The existing barn is towards the center of the lot. The proposal is to demolish and remove the barn and build a single-story ranch-style home in the center of the lot in the approximate location of the barn, but really so that the front of the house is on the widest part of the lot. That's what architecturally we're shooting for. The applicant, Mrs. Bailey, would reside in the home. It's important that the structure be a single-level home, as Ms. Bailey provides residential care for 3 adults with disabilities. So one, the obvious answer to why the dimensional variance wouldn't be necessary would be a 2-story home, right? I mean, just shrink it down and go up. But that doesn't fit the needs here. So as Mr. Lackley started off, this is in an industrial 1 zone. So that's a little unusual. All the other houses in the area also in an industrial 1 zone, except for the condominium, which is in a PUD or PD, planned development zone. It has its own zone. The homes on our property at 1340 Main Street are non-conforming. One is too close to the side boundary and one is too close to the front boundary. But, they were built prior to zoning ordinance and their pre-existing non-conforming uses. So as I mentioned, despite being the I-1, Main Street in this area is predominantly residential in nature. So there's south of our lot, there's a single-family home and the mentioned residential condominium project. Route 117 runs along the eastern front of the lot, and George's transmission and 2 single-family homes are across 117. And to the north, there are 2 single-family residential homes. The predominant feature in this area for everyone is the Patuxent River, which runs along the back of the property along that 48 feet of rear boundary line. The I-1 zone requires 30-foot setbacks, but because we need to build a single-story home, the footprint is a bit wider, and we request relief a 10-foot reduction on each side. So we want to leave a 20-foot buffer. Is that the proper way to say it, Doug? I want to make sure I'm clear on this. I'm asking for 10 feet of relief from a 30-foot setback, which will leave 20 feet of setback.
That sounds accurate.
We got started off on the wrong foot with that, so we'll just, yeah. Okay. So the immediate area where the house will be placed has residential uses on both sides, where we're asking for that relief. So where the house we propose will be located, the uses to either side are residential in nature. So now we'll get to the more positive attributes of this lot after discussing its frailties. It has adequate off-street parking. There are no structures existing or proposed within the river's required setback, which is substantial. So nothing within that 200-foot setback along the Patuxent. And then utilities and the vehicle access will be available from Main Street, one driveway, and public water and public sewer are available, which is really what makes the whole thing even possible. A use variance is necessary as no industrial use would be appropriate for this property, considering the location of the river and the neighboring uses and the existence of residential homes on the property pre-existing the zoning ordinance. The dimensional variance is required to allow placement of that single-level structure, which should fit the needs of the family. So that's a brief overview of what we're requesting. I'm happy to answer any questions of the board.
So you're basically going to tear the barn down and proposes to build a house where the barn was
That's correct.
in the same, oriented the same way the barn is, so the front of the house would be facing south, I guess?
So that's a great question, and the answer is no. The house would face the front of Main Street.
So it would be facing, okay, so
Yes,
like taking the barn and turning it.
yes.
Any questions from the board?
You know, you said there's two additional houses.
That's right.
Are they going to be in use during that?
The front house is currently occupied by a family member,
So it's, oh, okay.
and the little ranch that's visible from the driveway is not currently occupied, used for storage, but the plan is to keep those in place, yes.
How far away from the river will this house be?
A little over 200 feet. Similar to the residential condominium. Well, actually, I apologize. That did not come before this board because it required a PUD and I had to do it in front of the town council. So my constant references to that are misplaced. I'm sorry. But that has a similar 200-foot setback to the river. So it would be in line kind of with that, with the condominium residences there.
How big is the building that's not in use?
It's a small ranch. I would say 1,000 square feet
Storage?
currently, yes.
So how big is the one they want?
About 2,500 square feet.
How big is this square footage of the barn?
I don't know. I can look.
Oh, you can kind of look, I guess you could kind of get an estimate.
I think it's
Picture.
in the tax record, if you give me a moment. Oh, my apologies. They don't list it. Maybe they don't tax it.
So,
I don't think there's any chance of that. But it is not listed as an accessory building.
so where is the little, we'll call it the storage house? Where is that on the lot? I can't really tell with the,
This is the front, that's the back.
yeah.
No problem. Go ahead.
Bit of the stenographer.
Yes.
Is there a way you can describe it on the exhibit for the stenographer and
Sure.
so clearer?
Starting at Main Street, the eastern edge of this property, there's a single-family home immediately adjacent to Main Street. It's only several feet back from the home. Traveling west on the lot, along style home. I can find out in one moment. Would you excuse me? Sure. Sorry for the interruption, Ms. Cludier. So the applicant's daughter lived in that home until approximately November, the 1st of November, and subsequently passed away. Yes, yeah.
That driveway goes right in front of that house that we're talking
Yes,
about.
it does.
And that's gonna be the existing driveway that's gonna go all the way back to the new house.
That's correct. One driveway, single entrance.
As you look at the house, Lenny, the driveway comes in on the right, the left, I guess. Down around the back, then there's the ranch house that sits down in the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, the
It
last-
starts to raise up, and the barn is on the right. side. Pull it up.
Yeah. Hmm.
Any other questions? Yeah, Mr. Cronin, see what the audience has to say.
Through the chair, if you don't mind, as a first comment, will you just note for the record that we did receive a written comment? You don't have to read it out loud. Just note who it came from and that we received it. That'd be helpful for the record.
And attach it, please.
You did.
Yeah, you did. It just arrived. There you go, Keith.
We're in receipt of a letter to Mr. McLean from Patricia Beauchamp and actually her and her husband. And like we don't have to read it. That's it.
No need to read it. Just do you want to have that acknowledged as an exhibit?
Okay.
It just have the letter. It should just note for the record. It is a one-page letter of objection. We'll note it as Exhibit 1 for this matter. And you don't need to read it, but you after that you can, I think, take the oral comments.
Josh, anything online? No, I didn't hear what his reply was.
Nobody online.
Oh, okay. Is there anyone in the crowd that would like to speak on this one way or the other? Mr. Osberg. You gotta come down here, Brian. State your name and address.
Brian Osberg, 1350 Main Street, Coventry.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Okay.
In relation to the new building, how much is in between there? They got 20 feet from the border. Where's this, I can't, in other words, where's the corner of the new building going to be in relationship to the corner of the 1,000 square feet building?
It's, you want to come up here, Brian? This is property line. This is your house.
My advice is that you can point to a few things on the document, but if there's going to be discussion that we're on mics, that would be helpful for the crowd and the steno.
Okay, I'm just wondering what they have in between this house and the existing house. If you get, in other words, is it 5 feet from the corner? So in other words, this wouldn't be a driveway. The driveway would be over here. I just, in other words, has this been looked into? Being that close? Go on.
Barn is, going to be fixed. The house is going to be, look at it from this point, there's the barn. That's the roof right there.
Okay.
They're gonna back the house up a little. It'll be the house over here. It's 20. Mean the house.
In other words, I think that the 1,000-foot one is down right here somewhere. And I was wondering how close it's gonna be to this corner of the building. Storage house. No.
Okay, come back over here.
Oh.
So, this is the regular house, the storage house is right there. Yeah, so you're over here, this is the opposite side. Right here.
This,
I just ask if you can bring that mic back in front, in between you two.
when they changed the 1,000-foot storage to another house, we'll have three apartment buildings.
Right now, the house in question is the one that's unoccupied. It's still technically a regular dwelling, so I guess they could be,
Yeah, they probably will. Well, do they have to come before you to do that or not?
no, they don't. It's
Existing house.
existing house. Existing lot.
That's correct. This applicant is not suggesting that they're going to remove the single-family dwelling. They have two single-family dwellings on the property now. They're seeking to add a third single-family dwelling to this property. They'd retain all the rights to fill them
Okay.
as single-family dwellings.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Anybody else like to speak in favor or against this?
My name is Leo Boschman. I live at 9 Rivers Edge Drive with the condominiums adjacent to the property that's being proposed for the change in zoning.
Please raise your right hand. Get his name and address.
Boschman. My wife. Yep,
Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do. Yes, I have a very, very short letter, one paragraph that was written by my neighbor who was unable to attend the meeting because she is disabled and housebound. It's very short. This is from Linda Gauthier at 9 Rivers Edge Drive. Oh, sure. Gauthier.
Sir?
Yes. Okay. I live in the condo community bordering Lot 53 and would be directly impacted by a zoning change as my setback is about 20 feet. The back of my condo has a small patio and a large building close would be limiting. The experience in the past with multiple dwellers in this lot was very negative. I am housebound due to my health, and having a small, comfortable, personal space is important. My experience in the past with this past neighbor was loud shouting, multiple pets who barked all night, and junk vehicles filled with trash. It was bad enough that my windows stayed closed. I appreciate any attention and consideration you could give this. Thank you, Linda Gauthier. That's 9 at 11 Rivers Edge Drive. We did, yes. We see that.
Did you email that to me, sir? I don't believe I received it via email, but I'd love to take that if you don't mind giving it to me. Can we acknowledge this as Exhibit 2, please? Thank you.
Anything else, sir?
No, thank you. Thank you.
I do see from this, there was an attempt to email me. It just, there was a misspelling on the email. So I think this person intended to comment and we're accepting it now.
Yes, sir.
Calvin Brown, 13 Rivers Edge, Coventry.
Raise your right hand, sir. Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
Yes.
Tell us what you have to say.
Well, my concerns is the proposed zoning is the encroachment on our property line because we have such a tight area to begin with. In addition to that, the possibility of 3 adults living there with handicaps, is it gonna become a daycare? Are they relatives? Is it a paid-for facility? Or, I'm not sure what it's gonna be. And are they gonna add to that? Can they turn that extra house in the front into another boarding house? That's our concern. We have in the past, they had a bunch of dogs back there in the kennels, barking all hours of the night. Had to call the police numerous times. Swearing in the driveway. Going back and forth with dirt bikes. I mean, then they got out of there. I don't know if it was family members or if they were renting it. I have no idea. And the property wasn't maintained. Dead trees, refrigerators, stoves.
And those people are going now, and these are new.
Yeah, there's nobody there now as far as I know. But that's the way it was back there. Like I said, I don't know if it was family members or if they had rented the property and these people were doing it. I don't know. But I'd like to put that up for consideration before you make your decision. Okay? That's it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Susan Braz,
Closer.
B-R-A-Z as in zebra. 26 Rivers Edge Drive,
So,
Coventry.
raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have some concerns and when whoever it was reading the variance, it didn't mention the multifamily dwelling. Is that for variance or what is that?
They're seeking to put a third single-family dwelling on this lot that already has 2 single-family dwellings. It is noticed as a use variance because it's in an industrial zone. But yes, it is correctly before the board seeking a use variance.
I didn't hear from anybody that it was going to be multifamily dwelling. Like an explanation of what that would mean.
It's not being considered a multifamily. At this stage, they have 2 dwellings on the property. They're seeking to add a third single-family dwelling.
Ma'am, can you come back to the boat? Speak into the microphone, please.
Like to show what we got from the planning department. That was in Article 4, Section 450 variances, use variance for residential use in an I-1 zone, Article 4, Section 255-600, Table 6-1. A residential O1 single-family detached dwelling, I-1 North. Residential O5 multifamily dwelling, I-1 North. So that's what I'm asking. What is going on?
The applicant indicated in their application form, which you're looking at, that they were willing to seek relief as a multifamily. That's the same standard of a use variance. They're seeking a use variance. The use is not allowed. So they're up against the standard of a use variance. Whether you want to classify this as a multifamily or an additional single family, it's the same standard.
I want you to know, I'm not trying to classify it. This is what's on the paper that we had.
Understood. Yeah, that the applicant can speak to that. That's their application form. You're raising questions to the board. If the board wants to have redirect from the applicant after all the comments are taken, they can ask the applicant to speak to the concept of, is a multifamily happening here?
Okay. Sorry, I don't know how to,
No, that's fine.
approach all of this.
That's fine.
Questions also are with the 10 feet closer to the property line. It's a concern for us as far as, in my opinion, fire safety. I'd like to know if any of the changes have been made to fire codes, and how do these fire code changes protect our properties at, on River's Edge? Noise is an issue, and we would request a buffer put in place. And we would want to know who is maintaining the property that has been talked about previously. So it's very important to us that we have the kind of home that we thought we were moving into with a 55 community that you all approved. So being a 55 community is not just one unit. We have 38 units and 38 taxpayers. So that's what we're trying to represent, is that we want more information. Can that house be resituated so that it would not encroach the 10 feet to our property? Those are just things that I would like to have answers on.
How many more people are interested in speaking? Please come up.
Hi, I'm Julie Bailey.
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do. Did anybody else
Will you
want to
identify
speak?
yourself as the applicant? Is that,
Yeah, oh, yes.
okay, just make that clear for the record.
Anybody else have any comments, Ms. Bailey?
Is everybody done speaking?
Nobody raised their hand.
Yeah, he
You're
asked
the only
Then-
one.
then certainly the,
So Julie Bailey is the owner of the property. He's not the applicant.
Thank you.
But just to be clear, and sure, if other people are indicating that they may wish to speak, we'll come back up and finish on redirect.
Yeah, thank you, sir. No, it's okay.
Ma'am.
Ma'am?
Hi, I'm Margaret Shelton, and I live at 12 Rivers Edge Drive,
You live where?
Coventry, 12 Rivers Edge Drive.
Okay.
Coventry in the condo development.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to read from my paper, okay?
Just read into the mic.
Okay, in requesting a use variance, I looked up what a use variance was, and it said that you need to prove that it must be necessary to alleviate a practical difficulty or an unnecessary hardship. I don't know how this relates to a hardship. In addition, the use variance cannot create an adverse impact on other safety and welfare and environment. And Previous years, this property hasn't been maintained in a manner that is compatible to our development. We are a 55 and over community. Animal control has been notified a number of times due to barking dogs. There are extensive police records dealing with domestic disturbances as well as wellness checks. Also, there was a complaint filed for an open burning on the property in September of 2022. And requesting the use variance, and we were understood that it was going to be multifamily home for residents with disabilities, is what we thought we were reading. Will the home meet, if it is, the ADA requirements and building codes? The dimensional variance puts the structure closer to our property line. Maybe this house could be smaller. I believe this will increase our fire hazard risk as it's closer. And even though a buffer isn't mandatory in this type of a zone, I don't know how noise is going to be mitigated because there was a lot of excessive noise coming from that property. And will exterior lighting adversely affect the brightness level for our property? Since safety and welfare of my community and myself is very important to me, granting these variances will not benefit me or our development. Property values will be affected negatively. Because of past history, I feel the use and dimensional variance will not be compatible. I therefore am opposed to granting these variances. Thank you.
You. In the back?
My name is Robert Don Francesco. I'll spell it for you. DONFRANCESCO. We live at,
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in front of this board?
yes,
And your address is what?
28 Rivers Edge Drive, which is in that condo development. As far as the setback is concerned and how it encroaches on the property line, I'm estimating on one end, it's about 5 feet, and maybe 7 to 8 feet on the other side. Aside from the issues, if this were to pass, I think we'd like to see it within that footprint that doesn't encroach on the sides. It is already a structure that's pretty close to the condominium association condos. That's the first thing. The second thing is, brought up by one of my neighbors, is that it wasn't clear to me that we were talking about a third residential structure on the same property. I think there was a discussion about it being storage, but I guess the reality is at some point in time, it could become residential, someone living there, especially from what we heard. The last time someone occupied it was just recently in the last year. As far as it moving from a industrial zone, I think it is, to residential, that may improve the property a little bit, is my view. But it's about the encroachment and also it being a third structure on the same piece of property. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak either in favor or against this, or just have a question? Mr. Cronin, would you like to come up and?
Before we do that, I just, Cody, or I'm sorry, Josh, is there anyone online? Can anyone that's online raise their hand if they wish to speak? Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, the owner of the property would like to make a few comments on behalf of the application, if it's okay with you.
Certainly.
Thanks. State your name, address.
Julie, did we swear you in before?
We did. We could do it again, though. No big.
You still under oath? Good to go.
So, name Julie Bailey. Just kind of want to clear a few things up. So, we're not looking to put, I know somebody had said because of my mom taking care of people with disabilities, we're not looking to put a home here like a group home. My mom takes in special needs handicapped people whose families don't take responsibility for them. My mom before that was a foster parent, and when it got too hard to say bye to children, she decided to take care of adults. I'm the youngest of 6 children, and she did have 3 adopted children, so we're a big family. And unfortunately, all the noise and mess before was family, which was very hard for us to get rid of. But over time, it was very hard for my mom, but she did it, and we do apologize for that. But we are actually trying to clean the property up. I don't know if anyone they've realized that for months there has been no noise, no dogs barking. There's been no garbage. All the vehicles are gone. We've been working on that ever since we were able to get our family members out. We can't all pick our family, right? It just kind of happens. So that's all we're trying to do. It's been my mother's dream. She grew up there. It was my great-grandparents' house. And so before the condo association was built, there was nothing there. So we had concerns too when they built it about all these houses coming in on the side of us and what we were going to have to deal with. But we didn't say much because that's what we do nowadays, and everybody's building everywhere. Same thing with the people on this other side of us who we've known for years. And we also actually gave them permission, my grandmother did, to build. We don't really, we come over, we're cleaning up, we don't bother anybody. And I want to build my mom the home that she's always wanted. My mom's going to be 70 this year. She has a 3-story home in Green. And that home is getting a lot for her to take care of. So we're not building this to cause a problem. We're building this to try and make my mom's life a little easier and to get her a little closer to me because I help her a lot. So for me to drive out to Green constantly or to me drive, 20 minutes closer in Coventry, it's a little easier for us. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about this. But we are really trying to take care of this property, clean it up. We've gone through 2 evictions, which took forever because of COVID. But we are really trying to clean the property up and make it a better place. Yeah. So if anybody has any questions, I have no problem answering them. No, that's what my mom does now. She does it in Green. Yes, it's called shared living. The one we're building. Yes, they live at her. Yes, they live with her now. The people she's had for 7, 8, 9 years. It's not like they constantly come and go.
You're just going to keep it at 3 people from what I can see, right? Because there's only 3 bedrooms, 3 extra for them.
Well, you'll be my mom, my dad, and then she has the 3, and I have a handicapped brother, so he can't live on his own, and then the 3 people she takes care of, yes.
I have to say that the layout would certainly give you the opinion that this was some type of a assisted living facility.
I understand that.
3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, there's 4 bedrooms, great room, dining room. It's big. Would you stipulate, or would it be possible to stipulate that no more than 3 non-family members?
I can't answer that.
That's not her. That's not her
Oh,
question.
that's
That
you're
would
absolutely
be my
right.
mom.
You're right, Counselor.
I will say about the footprint, that's kind of like the biggest it would get. So we don't know if we could put a basement where like my brother, who's physically able to walk downstairs, like he could be down there. Like if we could put a basement, that footprint would decrease drastically. But we were told it would be better to come and just ask for what would be the worst case scenario. Okay, if this house needs to be this big. But as you know, I'm in construction, I'm an electrician in town here. We could also stretch the footprint the other way instead of this way. Is always a possibility if that's going to be one of the issues. like stretching it from front to back instead of left to right. You understand what I mean? So I mean, if that's really some of the biggest issues, but I mean, as far as some of these complaints with the noise and the dogs, we did get rid of those things, and some of it we didn't even realize was going on at first, and then once we figured it out, we took care of it.
You have 4 bedrooms here, yet there's going to be 5 people living there. How's that going to work? There's a master bedroom, and then there's bed 2, 3, and 4. I was just curious as to, who's gonna, obviously somebody's gonna be sharing a bedroom.
No, I think it's supposed to be a, hold on, you're gonna have to. Okay, so that might be an error, because I know we have to have 5. Because you have my mom and dad,
Other and the 3,
right,
it's 5.
yeah. So,
That's 6.
Only five
Well-
bedrooms.
Mom and dad could do the master bedroom.
yeah. They were born in the 50s, but they still sleep in the same bed.
We'll have to address that. All right.
Yeah, we'll have to adjust that, but it's probably going to be a 5. But I know, like I said, if we do get the go-ahead on actually putting a basement, because we have to a test hole, and with the lake being close, we have to see if we can do that. Then we would probably put 2 downstairs and 3 upstairs, and then that would, like I said, significantly decrease the footprint.
Tying it to town sewers?
We're already tied in.
You already are.
Yes, we're tied in. We tied in,
So you're gonna extend it out to the new to new.
yes. Or what we're gonna, I guess we have to see what the town's gonna allow us to do there, but I would think that we would be able to. We have the sewer pump in the ground, the ejector pump that goes up to the street and everything. I actually wired it, so it's an E5, I believe.
Mr. Cronin, I'll ask you, if you're going to shrink the building down, does she have to come before us again? No, if she decides to make it,
So
if you're going to go to 5, I'm just saying, if
Right.
you're going to go to 5,
So not to be too particular, Ron, but when you say shrink the building,
not shrink the building, but make
Right.
it like she's saying,
Yeah.
adjust the building.
so we're here for a use variance, residential use in an industrial zone. That would not change. But the variance request would change if it were to move out of the dimensional setback, the 30 feet. So it seems as though we have some misnumbering on our plan anyway. So, I mean, clearly, Mr. Lackley has pointed out an error that needs to be addressed before this board, right? It's not, whether the size of the house would change, or if it's simply a labeling error, I can't answer. The architect's not here. The applicant seeks to have the 5 bedrooms that the chairman mentioned. So while we're doing that, we might be able to address some of the side setback concerns and maybe redesign. I don't know if we can push back, because as this board is very experienced. You can see with your own eyes that pushing back doesn't really gain us anything, because the lot continually narrows. The further you go back, the bigger the setback. So we might have to come up with a different solution, but that is something that does need to be addressed. I guess that's a long-winded answer, Mr. Pelletier, to saying, yes, we'll be coming back, because we have to address that architectural question. I'll be asking for a continuance once we gather all the questions and information, so that we can get the proper information before the board. I would never ask this board to make a decision, not based on the proper information. So we'll continue, so we get all the information out from everyone, but, I think that's, I don't think we can move forward with that unanswered. So I can address the other concerns now, or, okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I would never even dream of addressing questions about fire safety. I'll let you address those, although they don't, it doesn't appear to me that there's a big fire safety concern here. But
I'm sure the fire marshal is aware of what the deal is here, and
yeah,
we're kind of held to a different standard that we can only do so much for 1, 2, and 3 family dwellings. So this falls within that. So there's not very much that we can do. But the marshal would obviously have to sign off to make sure everything was good to go on that.
right. So, yeah,
Like,
go ahead.
if you don't mind, they're in the process of cleaning up the yard, and that's been an eyesore for probably decades. I live up the street. I've lived there my whole life. And the fact that they've done an outstanding job of cleaning up what's going on now, I mean, the more they can do, the better it can be. Taking the old barn down and doing something better with that, that's got to improve what's going on there now. As far as the setbacks, that's something that, we'll need to address, but you're telling us that there's no multifamily dwelling going to be here? That was,
Well,
I think
I
the story was
I
told-
can't.
somebody who told the story who told.
Well, I cannot say that, Mr. Chairman. The Coventry zoning ordinance describes multifamily as more than one residence on a property.
Really?
So, and prohibits it from every zone in town, not allowed anywhere. Which is why when we developed the condominiums where all these folks live, we had to go to the town council and get that PUD, right? It's asking for a zone that doesn't exist, so that's what we did. So it is by definition a multifamily. There's 2 houses there now, I'm adding a third. By definition, a multifamily, but not a triple decker where I grew up, right? Yeah,
Structure with
exactly, not,
we would call an
Yeah.
apartment or a
no,
house or.
nope, just a few different dwellings on one single lot, like a condominium, same idea. So that's why that was in the application, we try to be forthright, with the board at all times, so. I think Julie addressed some of the other questions about it never being a commercial operation and things like that, and evicting, unfortunately, the tenants who were family members. So I think that addresses most of the questions from the neighbors. So at this point, I'd ask for a continuance date certain for next month so that we can straighten out that architectural question and perhaps come up with a plan that's more attractive in answering Mr. Pelletier's question.
Thank you.
Mr. Cronin, just one more question.
Of course.
Is there going to be any fencing? Is there fencing now along between the condos and this property?
There's some vegetative buffer. They were supposed to be arborvitaes. I don't think they planted arborvitaes. There was a little to-do about that at one point. But yeah, that's the separation right now.
I'm just thinking for the people there. There was maybe fence is more.
Well, I think there's a fence that belongs to a condominium,
Okay,
not to us.
okay.
I don't know if I can take credit for that or not.
I make a motion, we continue this to May 7th?
That's correct. And just for clarification, I'll ask the solicitor, should we make it clear on the record, we're continuing the matter and the public hearing to May 7th at 7 PM in likely this location, but any interested parties can check the website and ensure that they're coming to the right location on May 7th at 7 PM.
Second.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Gentlemen? It's okay. Motion made and seconded that we continue this,
May 7th.
continue this project to May 7th.
Yep,
7 o'clock here.
continue the matter and the public hearing.
And ending the public hearing. Ending?
No.
And
Continue the matter and the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to meeting be adjourned. All in favor, signal by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. Mr. Crow, could you and your wife please come up to the podium?
He can.
Thank you.
Wrapped a little bit.
Yeah, I saw it already. Anyone that's interested, we have a kind of a special thing tonight. Our chairman, who's been a ramrod for this organization for several decades, is officially retiring tonight. And in recognition of that, we've got some people here to make some presentations as well as presentations from here. So, Mr. Crow, this is your time.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
I just appreciate all the members I've had with me and all the help, which you guys obviously do to make it work. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Bob, I just want to say, I think you set a world record at 47 years, so I don't know if anybody in town ever has gone that long.
Gentlemen,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My colleague and I, Representative Noah Ray, are here to not only congratulate, but to honor Bob Crow for his service for the town of Coventry. And I remember back, it had to be in 1979, when we first opened up our business, we had a variance that had to be applied to move the house located next to. Can I advertise the former, you're not gonna send me a bill, right?
talking about Venus Pizza or you're talking
Exactly.
about
We had to
3
move-
stars?
We had to move a home that was located next to the restaurant, and coming in front of the zoning board, I got to commend Bob Crow. Back then, he was very enthusiastic to see what the issue was. We had to change the zoning variance, but his demeanor, his experience in this town for over 47 years, he's probably helped countless, probably hundreds and hundreds of Coventry residents to make those zoning changes so they can have an opportunity to construct their home or their business. But Bob, your family, your son, you've done an extraordinary job. Your service to the town is going to be missed, and I'm here to, I can't believe it's been 47 years that we've known each other, but congratulations to you, and Tom has a few words to say before we present to you.
Thank you very much. Entire House of Representatives, thank you for your service. As a former police officer in town, I've been in town over 30 years. So again, I appreciate all that you've done for the town, and your name is synonymous with Coventry. I'll read mine and
It's for both of us, one from the Senate.
One from the House, one from the Senate. So, Rhode Island House of Representatives and Senate hereby offer its sincerest congratulations to Robert L. Crow in recognition of your retirement after 47 years of dedicated and faithful service to the people of the town of Coventry as a member and the chair of the Coventry Zoning Board. Given this day, April 3rd, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody got a camera? No? Somebody want to take a
Mhm.
this way?
You just turn around.
Let's do one this way first. Mrs. Crowe, come in and photo, please. Oh, yeah.
The ref?
Side right there.